When you get rung by the doctor at 7 in the morning on a Saturday, you get a bit worried. I guess I didn't know just how bad it could be, and all these people were sort of carrying on like I may not have very long ahead of me and so forth, so that was very odd.
My brother's answered the phone over in the ski fields over there and I was out for the day, and so he didn't really know what was going on, and he told me, oh, you got to call home, John's got cancer, and I'm like, oh, it's a bit much, you know. I didn't really believe it all.
Jonathan rang me up and told me that he had this acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which meant nothing to me. And I'd asked my parents and they were, oh, this is pretty serious stuff. And so it hit me down for 6 and it was a shocker. I had a big teary that night and decided to write myself off on the beers just to comfort myself. And yeah, once I got that out of the road, it was much easier to deal with it, and because John was just so cool about it, and he was saying, it's just leukemia.
But it seems to me they say this forgiveness sets us free, but you just won't admit it. So come home, we really miss you.
I started drawing very young, like most kids do. I got into comics pretty early on and drew them until I was about 17, 18. Seriously drew comics. At 13, I was really making superhero comics for my own amusement. I had the odd message in my comics back then, but they were never as solid or theoretical as anything I sort of try to do now. I had my first round of chemo. It was pretty rough, and that sort of worried me that I'd have to do it, 7 more times. It was a rough time, and towards the end of that was when I started to sort of put these things down on paper and try and get it out. As people could always read them, and they'd know what was going through your head when you drew that. Which is, it's sometimes a hard thing to actually tell someone, If it's really dark, people don't necessarily want to hear it. Most of my friends and family who looked at my artwork, when it was starting to get a little bit dark, they'd encourage it generally.
Well, a lot of his pictures in hospital, they all had a lighter side though. The pictures he was doing when he was in hospital were definitely hospital-based, doctor-based, and I can't remember the character's name. One of them was a big pig who was the doctor, Dr. Meat Chops, and he had a recurring theme.
I met a friend in hospital fairly early on. She was in the same ward as me. She was just across the hall. And yeah, we were much the same age, had the same thing. We had a few things in common, and when you're both in that situation, you sort of, you find things to talk about. I got back for my second round, and I remember asking one of the nurses how she was, because she was a little bit ill the day I left. And yeah, the nurse just sort of quietly told me that she hadn't made it. And yeah, that was when I was really, that shook me up a lot. I wasn't scared at that point. I was just more uncomfortable and not looking forward to doing it again and again until I was able to stop. I wasn't afraid though at that point in time.
Some of the drawings I've seen that he's done, like during when he was in hospital and things, the drawings that I've seen recently that were from that time, I know that he was scared.
Just put on that brave face for everyone to see. Just put it on. If I couldn't draw and I didn't have that way to express myself and get all of these feelings out, I would have been pretty fucked.